Son of a bitch. Always you. Always.
Fucker.
You're a fucker. Wrap it up. What the fuck? Did I just move? What happened to my camera? Did my camera revert back? Oh my. One second. Hi, Drez. Hi, Maddie. 1 second. I gotta fix something.
Outain T drag off Utan T dragon.
Hi, Audinet. Thank you so much. Hi, Alberto Jose Silva Londoño. Alberto. Wait, Maddie, were you not feeling well? Ooh, 10 streams, not bad. Well, Maddie, you are sick. Hope you're well, Alberto. Thank you for joining us. You're sick, Maddie. Don't do that, Autonet. You're welcome, Alberto. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for joining us again. Well, that's kind of you, Autonet. Especially for the sick Maddie. Yeah, I did it. I also did oil paint, badly made paints command. I cleaned up another command too. Oh yeah, I fixed the Insta command to just being Instagram instead of Insta. Or I added Instagram as well. I don't know. I mean, we all are. All right. So, does anybody notice what I'm painting on? What am I painting on today? Concrete? No, not concrete. Not that. Glass, yep. It's an old palette. It's an old palette because I want to do this exercise multiple times. So I thought, well, instead of wiping it off of a piece of canvas that is going to be like thrown out later, I could just paint on the glass. We're going to see how that works out, everybody. We're going to see how that works out. Because we're not looking for, like, this is not, the exercise today is not about, like texture or techniques of paint application. This is purely about a more functional foundational skill. There'll be less brush friction. We might have some issues with paint wiping away. We'll see. I'm going to play it by ear. So yeah. Point being is, you shouldn't do this exercise on stuff that is cost you any type of significant money. You know, the only cost you want in this is to be basically your paper towels and your paint. So yeah. The arrogance. So the other thing we'll need is your cell phone with a timer. With a timer on it, everybody. Okay, no ifs, ands, or penises. I picked this reference because I love Matt Berry, and there's some good defining shapes in this. So does anyone want to know what we're doing today, or should I wait a little bit longer before I explain? Let me get the paint out, actually. And don't forget to get your badly made... Hi, Nordic. Hi. How are you? What is new? How long is that going to take for them to piss and shit? Up. Skitty bop. Where's this tit white? Not much is new. I'm glad that you're doing well. I'm doing fine. Just making tons of paint. Being really busy. But getting shit done, you know? Nope. I could not be as good looking as Matt Berry. Even though I am one of the best looking men on the planet. How you doing, Lost? Ooh, skitty bop. Boo. There it is. There that is, okay. But don't forget to get your badly made oil paints today, everybody. In an internet near you. You've started reading it? What are you reading? You have? Oh my god, Nordic. What are you reading? Don't forget to get your badly made oil paints today. Look at how cool these are. Oh, Pet Sematary? That's an interesting one. When you're done with that, Nordic, I believe that was based off of a short story, or was inspired by a short story, and I forget the name of it, but I believe I read the short story. The only Stephen King book I read was The Stand, and I have to say I was not a fan of his writing style. I appreciate what he's trying to do. Hi, Pickles. I appreciate his work ethic and how prolific he was and his ideas. I could not get over his writing style. It felt so vulgar to me at times. See, I think I'd agree with that sentiment, Fugu. He's also an incredibly hard worker. Or, like, you know, I mean, the man, I appreciate that he obviously has a huge passion for writing. You get what I'm saying, Fugu? Like, I love when people are doing things that they obviously love to do, and he had some very good ideas. For me personally, it was his writing style that got to me. Oh, that's a good one, Nordic. That is a very good one. That's a good one. That's an entertaining book. Because it does what, like, the fun parts of, like, Sherlock Holmes, it does it just better than, like, the Arthur Conan Doyle Sherlock Holmes, in my opinion. Now, there wasn't as many, obviously, of that style, but that's a fun read. They have been, Fox Girl. They have been. But you know what tubes haven't yet? Are badly made oil paint. He's great, Nordic. Are the badly made oil paint. I roll Scarlet. Maddie got hers. Still to be badly, yeah, very true, Shasta. Very true. Ivory Black is now available. Thank you, Fugu. I like it too. There will be they'll improve eventually as far as some aspects. Don't eat the paint, Nordic. God damn it. God damn it, Nordic. Like my crimping, I had to make do with like how I have to crimp and like put paint in the tubes. So like there'll be some things if I sell enough paint and this like turns into like more regular demand, there'll be improvements to several things. But for my current budget and what I can do, this is pretty much as good as it gets. Don't eat the paint. Don't eat paint thinner, Nordic. Maddie, so here. Jesus Christ! Anonymous! Fox Girl! Thank you, Anonymous. It's son of a bitch, Anonymous. I will find you one day. So, Maddie, on the label, I think it says it needs like 115 grams of pigment. Do neither, Nordic. Do neither. It's like 115 grams of pigment. In like quinacridone magenta, for example, 23 grams of pigment. So in the same amount of volume, lead white uses about 5 times the weight of pigment for the same volume. Quin magenta is very light. Pyrrols, bismuth is also pretty heavy. Bismuth, I think, is the second heaviest. And I have, this is anecdotal, but remember I told you I had separation issues with the lead and bismuth the most. And obviously I think it has to do with the density difference between the oil and the pigment. I'm taking measures to make sure that they don't separate. And God, I hope they don't. But, Maddie, one note for you, or for anyone who has oil paints that might separate. Yeah, no, so here, I actually got a practical demonstration of this. So I ordered, y'all hadn't heard, son of a bitch, Tommy. No worries, Drez. I ordered lamp black, everybody. And this is 1 kilogram of lamp black. This is only 1 kilogram of lamp black. You see how big that is? And now this is 1 kilogram of burnt umber. Which is not, hope you're well, Tommy. Which is not that dense. Everybody. This is a pretty, like, this is a medium density. This is very not dense at all. Here. This is 2 kilograms. This is 2 1-kilogram bags of yellow ochre, which is not even as big. Here, I could open this up. It is. Hi, Kaziki. I'm not peddling drugs. So this is 1 kilogram of one of the yellow ochres I'm trying out. The French ochre Sahara. But here, I'll put them side by side. Look at that side by side difference. These are the same weight, everybody. These are the same weight. One kilogram each. So this is probably because it needs so much oil. So the less dense the pigments are, the more oil they need, right? It's inverse, right? So the lighter the pigment, the more oil it needs because there's more surface area that needs to be bound here. So this is probably going to make... this is probably going to make like 30 to 40 tubes of paint. This is probably going to make like 12 to 13 tubes of paint. So, so just because a pigment is expensive by weight does not mean you're actually getting less value for it, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Like, so if I got 100 grams of quinacridone magenta, it will cost me $60 for 100 grams, a tenth of this amount, by weight. And it will probably make me 4 to 5 tubes. Probably 4.5-ish. No, this was still like $45-ish for this. This was $25-ish for the French ochre Sahara. But these are my new... So, talking about yellow ochres, I got 2 yellow ochres that seem to have a lot less red in them by appearance. And these are for Zorn palette. Because I have there is a strong chance that when Zorn was painting, he might have been using... Well, he was most likely using a French ochre. And I wouldn't have been surprised if he went a very desaturated, or at least low red yellow ochre. Because I can get... Hold on. Getting more pigments. All right, these are both yellow ochres, everybody. These are both yellow ochres. Do we see a difference? Do we notice a difference between those? These are both have the same pigment number. One looks tastier. Shut up, Fox Earl. But these are both the same pigment number, everybody. Okay? Pigment numbers are meaningless. Blue Ridge is much more orange, right? Or you would actually a better way to say it, this has way more red, right? So we're going to see how this turns out. I'm not sure, though, if this is opaque. This is opaque, so the color stays true to the pigment. There's a chance that this is very transparent, that this darkens a lot from this. And that's my big concern. Regardless, though, if you want these 2 yellow ochres and lamp black, they are going to be special editions on when I make them into the badly made paint line, unless I keep them permanently. But for now, all 3 yellow ochres are going to be considered test pigments and lamp black. Now, does anybody know why I got lamp black? Outside of Bud's love for lamp black? Why would I get this when I have bone black? Yep, it's blue. This one leans blue, everybody. Ivory black or bone black leans brown. Okay. Slightly warm. So I'm theorizing about the Zorn palette. Well, Zorn cheats, but I also think there's a significant possibility that people did not classify the paints he was using correctly. I have a suspicion that he wasn't necessarily using ivory black. I have a suspicion. This was around during his time period. Carbon black was around during his time, and those are much bluer. Carbon black can be much bluer, and lamp black is generally bluer too. And it may, I mean, I'm going to do comparisons. I'm going to have those photos up when I make this paint. I will have like swatches with lead and titanium white to show you the differences between that and ivory black, like I will do with those yellows as well. But so yeah, so basically it is, isn't it, Fox Girl? That is an actual possibility, Shasta, too, right? Like, he could have just said, give me a black, like a black color, and he could have just called it ivory black, or, you know. Point being is, it's a subject I want to learn more about, and I might even consider trying to contact some historians on this specific subject, because if you look at some of Zorn's paintings, now it's hard to account for monitors and photos, right? It's really hard to account for that. But he has a couple specific paintings that seem to lean more blue and green than is possible. With lead white and ivory black. With lead white, now I don't know what the difference between. I think he was still using traditional ivory black, which was made from ivory, but I've heard that leans warm too. So, like, that wouldn't solve the issues I see. Lead white has not changed. The red wouldn't make a difference in any of this. That is a giant bag of pigment. Yep, Legendary Vegan. This is lamp black. Fun thing. The industry name for it is furnace black. Furnace black, because how they make this now is they just burn, like, basically gasoline or oil, and they collect the soot. That's how this pigment is made. It got its name lamp black from Victorian England. With they used to have gas lamps in the street, and they'd have people who would clean the soot out of the lamps, and this is how Chinese ink. This is the same pigment that Japanese ink sticks are made from, and they use rapeseed oil. They burn rapeseed oil in candles, and then they collect the soot off of that. Yeah, the Zorn palette is miserable, Fruity Moo. The Zorn palette is miserable but highly interesting, but like, it's a huge pet peeve. They do what to seeds? They are called rape seeds. Rapeseed oil. Cooking oil. All right, let's get out our palette. Get your mind out of the gutter, Fox Girl. Yep. Well, I also think that is a regional name for it too, Legendary Vegan. All right. Yeah, I believe England is actually... Because you're in England, right? Kazik, are you in Canada? You're in England, right? I believe they're fairly large producers of it. Okay. Goddamn business. Wish. Yeah. Arrogance. Yep. Yeah, I didn't know that it was grown a lot in England until recently. Also, everybody, I'm probably going to do a plein air stream this week, and it's going to start earlier than what I normally start at. Just FYI, everybody. But it's going to be watercolor plein air. It's going to be watercolor plein air, so you get to see how bad I am at watercolors. All right. Does anybody want to know what exercise we're doing today? Maddie, are you back? All right. Does anybody else want to know what we're working on? See if it's more than just Maddie. Anybody else? All right, we got Kaziki as well. Okay, all right, that's 2. Don't you crickets me. Don't you not say anything then crickets me. All right, so what we're doing today... Oh, did you, Kaziki? Thank you. Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. Thank you so much. You will not regret it. You got 2 quinacridons. Oh, and lead. Well, thank you so much. Hi, Catherine. Really appreciate it. Shipping's a bitch. I'm sorry about that. I might be able to give you some money back on shipping, though. I don't like how they calculated that. Sorry to hear that you hurt your back, Fruity Moon. But I will ship those out shortly, Kaziki. Thank you so much. Well, I was able to ship to the UK Kaziki for $25 recently. Now that was through a longer shipping time, but if I can get that deal and like they said like 1 to 3 weeks on that shipping time. But so if I can get that price in this case, I will try and get you some money back, and we could do that even separately. I'm not trying to rip you off on shipping. One of FOURTHWALL's big weaknesses is their shipping calculation. But thank you so much. You really like magenta, huh? Sounds good. Thank you so much for the support. Okay, so let's get on to what this exercise is, everybody. All right. So, recently I did a bunch of portraits. And I struggled a lot with them, with getting likeness. Not all of them, but on a bunch, okay? And it include the in-person with Amy. I struggled with Amy's portrait quite a bit. Yeah, that makes sense, Kaziki. Yeah, that's Pyrrol's Scarlet, and that's the magenta that you ordered. And then, yeah, I think you'll like them. So, anywho. Alright, so I struggled with portraits, and I came across an exercise that I've heard of before, and it just kind of got back in my head on the foundational skill of laying down shapes in a very simplistic manner to get a quick likeness. Okay, so what does that mean? What that means is I would get hung up on the details quite a bit, try and do things too much early on, and it would fuck with me a lot. And I would have just done that, Shasta. I know. Next time. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing time trials, everybody. We're going to be doing timed portraits. So like I said, if you didn't hear, this is glass. This is an old palette of mine. And we're going to do a run, maybe talk about it, reflect on it, and then we're going to wipe it away and do another. Okay? I'm going to allow myself more than one brush, but not a crazy amount. Like maybe 2 or 3 brushes. But the goal here is to get basically the shapes down for the hair, the entirety of the face, like generalities though, shapes, not like larger shapes, and we're going to time ourselves. And we're going to start off with 10 minutes, and we might adjust from there to shorter or longer. This would be a great one to waste your crappy paints on, yes. This would be a great exercise to use up your older, alizarin crimson and shit like that. Yep, Catherine. And so this is a very foundational exercise, but I referenced this a little bit ago, right? Well, here's an interesting story. Here's some badly lore for y'all. Okay. My freshman year of college, I worked at a bowling alley, and I was in the middle of nowhere in Iowa, and I got 6 free bowling games a day And I really had nothing much else to do there once I was done with my homework and shit. So I actually started to learn how to bowl. And I got pretty good fairly quickly with it. And a guy there I became friends with was teaching me, who was kind of like near pro. Like he was like the bowling center pro, and he would go to tournaments, and he was like a 230 average bowler in leagues. Like he was very good. And it was just something for me to do. And so I learned pretty quickly, and then I went on winter break, and I came back, and like I fucked up. Like I just like did like I like unlearned things, right? I got back into like bad habits, and when he like saw it again, he just like told me, he's like, just, you know, do what we did in the beginning. So he had me like go several steps back earlier in what I was learning, or what he was like just telling me to do, and it really helped cement some of those fundamentals, right? So when we're talking about this stuff, right, and why I tell people to paint an apple, right? Like that's just kind of becomes a paint an apple when you are first starting, or like when you're like you should honestly just paint a simple fruit still life all the time as a reflection on. And if you see me, I've been doing simple still lifes recently, right? Of going back to fundamentals and just really trying to make sure that those fundamentals are in a good spot, and reflect on those. And so this is more on the idea of not trying to paint a goddamn masterpiece and do a really fancy subject matter every single time. I think about this is like some of my favorite paintings are like the simplest subject matter, but just painted incredibly well. Maddie, do you remember at the Art Institute where I showed you that Kai Bot at the butcher shop? That Kai Bot painting with like the butchered like pig's head or whatever. It's a very simple subject, right? But when it's painted well, it is just as interesting or valuable than a wholly complex painting like the ones that you posted, Fox Girl, in the Discord, right? Where like simplicity can bring out a lot, and understanding how to paint simply and effectively can be a very strong statement on its own, right? And so yeah, I tend to reflect on these principles a lot, and whenever I notice that I'm trying to kind of do too much and I don't like how a painting turned out, I think about this stuff a lot. I do think about this a lot as a principle. So how do we get back into like practicing basic skills effectively? Well, shit like this. So I picked now portraits aren't easy, right? But you could do this. You could do quicker ones with an apple. You could do this for like 2 minutes. I'm going to start off with 10 minutes here. But you could do an apple in a minute. You know, you could do fruit. You could do like you could take 10 minutes to do three fruit, like 3 pieces of fruit or something like that, to help. Like this also helps with like proportions and drawings and stuff. But it's also the marriage of color with proportional drawing, right? Our proportional relationships. That's the spiel. That's why we're doing this today, everybody. And I think this is I legitimately think this is a good exercise for everybody to do with, I think, some regularity. All right? And that's the only time I'm going to be sincere for the rest of today. Okay? Fucking garbage can. Of course, I didn't bring the garbage can close. All right. Any questions on what we're doing? Any questions? Good. No questions. None at all. Absolutely none. We're gonna bring out one more brush in that. So also, other notes. What are we all doing? Did you not listen to that whole spiel? God damn it, Kaziki. God damn it. We're doing time trials. So the goal is to get as good of a likeness for this. And in the first go, we're going to do 10 minutes. Okay? The question is, do I just use... I don't think I'll need oil for this. But I do think I should use oleo gel. Does anybody need any clarification, though, on anything we're doing? The arrogance. Oh, gotcha. So, Maddie, with that mug that you did, you could do this exercise with that mug as well. Doesn't need to be a portrait. I'm doing this because I struggled with portraits recently. A lot of struggling with portraits. Nope. You mix them while you do it, Pickles. No pre-mixing. I mean, I don't support pre-mixing in any capacity. I don't support pre-mixes. Well, now you got the stream, Kaziki. Yeah, it can't. Maddie, do you want any quick criticism or critique, I should say, on that? So, you painted in midtones, there was no darks, and there was no lights. And it would have really added to the realism to added small shapes of brights and darks. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, you also needed the shadows too, Maddie. You also needed the shadows. So you painted like in like a... So if we had 0 to 100, 100 being white, 0 being black, you were in between like, I would say 35 and 65% on all your colors, where you needed some 10s to 15s, and you needed some 90s. All right. All right. Move the chair. Arrogance. All right, we ready to start? Hopefully this doesn't have problems with let me just check something really quickly. This is not starting, this is just a test. I need to load up my brush a little. You always complain about this loss, but there was a lot of exposition going on today. All right? God damn it. Exposition. Okay, so first one we're going to go with 10 minutes. Timer's here. Like I said, no pre-mixing, but let's start. All right. Some issues with the application here. Go a little bit deeper. Sorry, I'm also going to be talking less than I normally would because of the time constraints.
Fire the nuclear
You son of a bitch, Greenbag. I'm busy. Not a nerd. Busy, though. Busy. Busy. No! I got 4.5 minutes left. Son of a bitch! Time! Grab the children! Save the children! Time!
Quit playing with your dinghy.
No! Sons of bitches! Not the time! How you doing, Amber? How are you? Grab the children! Save the children! The arrogance. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry, we're doing a time trial right now, so just give me a second. I got 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on this.
Prank him, John.
This is 10-minute trials. 10-minute time trials, everybody. We're painting on glass, which is kind of odd. One second. Almost done. Careful, Amy. No worries, Amy. That's great to hear, Amber. It's nice to see you again. I miss you too. You are always a lovely person to see in these parts. Boop, 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 boop. Got 2 minutes left. Got 2 minutes left, everybody. Son of a bitch! Who did it? Who? The arrogance. Boop, boop, boop. But thank you for the raid, Greenbag. Please give us your links if you'd like. Sorry, I can't give you immediate attention, but we got 58 seconds left. 58 seconds left. All right. 10 minutes up. Thank you, Garg. Everyone go follow Greenbag or else. That was the first one done. It's 10 minutes. Oh, Greenbag ran out for work. Thank you so much if you're still listening, Greenbag. Nobody texts me while my phone's on the screen, Amy. Oh, damn it. But yeah, so today we're doing an exercise. We're doing time runs to try and get quick likeness. It should help with the proportions. We're painting on glass. No worries, Greenbag. Thank you so much, bud. I'll see you in hell, son of a bitch. But thank you. So we're painting on glass because we're going to wipe this away. We're going to do a bunch of these. This was the first. We gave ourselves 10 minutes. And we can reflect on this before we do another one. Okay. So this is like, if you guys want the spiel again, this is about going back to fundamentals and what's important. I struggled with a lot of recent portraits and getting likeness. And this is an exercise that I've come across in the past that I never really did. And I thought it would be a very good one to really accentuate, like, prioritizing important features as basic shapes. We could do that. I mean, I could just take them off later on from the VOD. Not a reflection. Not a reflection. But that is a good idea, Garg. So here, let's do this for... I don't know how visible this is. Ten. So if I'm looking back on this, all right, obviously some proportions are a bit off. Honestly, I think the nose to eyes is decent. I didn't get decent shapes down here or down here, right, on this side of the neck. This color to this color is off. This probably needed to be a little bit darker. But I think foundationally it's not the worst. And it went a ton quicker than I expected it to. Thank you, Garg. Garg, I'm really ramping up the insanity, aren't I? On those Instagram posts I'm sending you. Insanity's being ramped up to 11. Unhinged. It is, isn't it? That's what I'm getting in my feed. That's the ones I'm comfortable sending you. I hope you're well, Garg. Good God! So yeah, mixing colors and doing this, I mean, 10 minutes is nothing. That flew by. Especially the nerd attack really helped, obviously. It's interesting. I felt pressure, but not in a bad way. There were a few times where I was like, oh wait, that's not important. Alright, don't call me. So yeah. Any thoughts that anybody wants to share on this? Before I wipe it away? The face is probably not wide enough. Also. So proportionally, the face doesn't seem wide enough. It really does. It really does, guard. Yeah. Hi, Stoic. This is Matt Berry. From a show that is really good that I don't know if a lot of people have seen, but it's called Year of the Rabbit. Called Year of the Rabbit. And it's a very fun show. Only had one season though from last time I checked. Yeah, very possibly because I mean, I agree because yeah. Right, but this is good though. Oh, thank you, Pickles. Much appreciated. All right, so should we do another 10-minute, everybody? Should we do another 10-minute? Maybe a different brush would have too. Yeah, 10? Okay. Very good, Stoic. Maddie. All right. And we'll clean up this too. Good enough. Okay. All right, we ready for round 2, everybody? Round. The arrogance. Let's go. Really? I don't know why I feel compelled to start with this shape, but I do. Oh, are you using them right now, Maddie? Has your dick been blown off yet? Gotcha.
Badly, I asked you not to share that selfie of me.
Oh, thank you, Raven.
Man.
I had to do it, Raven. I had to do it. The world needed to know. Thank you for the bits, Raven. God damn it, Raven. They're not Skittles. They're paints. Ooh, nice stoic. Well, I do shit in them and market guaranteed. That is true. One day somebody will laugh at that. Shitting and handling. No, this is from a show called Year of the Rabbit. Year of the Rabbit. A really great show where Matt Berry plays a detective in Victorian England. Very funny. But only one season from what my understanding. It's really good. Very good. All right, we're starting to get to crunch time, everybody. There. I have to say this glare makes shit a lot more difficult than I expected. All right. Done. That Neil Diamond. I think the nose is a little off. I love Dark Place, Stoic Booty. Stoic, if you go on YouTube and you listen to the Dark Place commentary, they have him, Ayoade, and the other guy, whatever his name is, the guy who plays Garth Marenghi. They do a full commentary of the series in character, and it's hilarious. Poop cry? Do we need a poop cry? No, we could do a few more before poop cry. What are we all thinking, though? I've seen Sad Neil Diamond. I've watched it like 10 times, Stoic Booty. It's that good. It's that good. All right, so... Oh my god! This glare is annoying. I mean, what the fuck? What do you mean? This is 10 minutes, yo. Love Matt Berry. The end. All right, so this was 10 minutes. Our second 10-minute. It went crazy fast again. Like a goddamn crazy horse. Ooh. It's like we're doing Tabatas. We're doing Tabata sets, everybody. We'll go for 10 minutes. So, how did I feel about it? I think some things went better. I think my proportions got a little better. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Maybe Roman numerals. Okay. Sorry, Jan. All right. So I think this side of the face is still a little bit off. The eye I don't mind the eye placement being general. This shape is not good. I was fighting the paint a little bit in this go around. I don't think general dimensions are terrible here. Like as far as starting off point. The nose could have used the shape, I think, like right here. Hi, Omizu. Welcome in, bud. But thank you, Pickles. All right, should we change up the time or should we do another 10-minute? I think 15. You think raising? Yeah, he only has one eyebrow.
Wow,
20?
wow.
Oh, thank you, Jan. Look at that. Everybody check those primes. Everybody check those primes. You think 20? Should we do a vote? Should we do a vote? On the amount of time this time? Or should I give it to a certain... How about this? Since Jan just subbed. Jan, how much time for this one? We did 2 sets of 10. How much time for this one? So we did that took us 10 minutes. We did another one with 10 minutes. Stoic going for 5. Fundamental skills of getting a quick likeness. Jan. We're just doing time trials. Could be anything. I would say minimum is 5 though. Minimum is 5. Jan, you want 15? All right, we'll do a 15. Okay. Are we all ready to start? Y'all ready for this? 15 is a good block in time. Be like the fastest one I ever done. All right. We'll see. I haven't been good recently. Or inpatient, yeah. All right, everybody. 15-minute go. Starting after a word from our sponsors. Oh, you don't have any sponsors today? Okay, all right. Okay, we're going to start now, I guess. Oh, that sounds good, Raven. That sounds very good. All right, starting now. No, they're not sponsoring me, Lost. Unfortunately, those fuckers. They're like, why would we sponsor you? You're garbage. You're terrible. I know. Sad day. Then they spit on me. Told me to get out. Starting here for some reason. That's where I held to start. I'm realizing I'm making a mistake. Y'all can remember this. I've been making a mistake. We can discuss that afterward. Crooked? No. I don't think I'm overthinking it. I just think I fell into a trap. It's a trap. We'll talk about it after that. Yes, you are, Jan. Well, this is all AI right now, everybody. For anyone who doesn't know, this stream is entirely powered by AI. This is AI painting right now. For anybody who didn't know. Entirely powered by AI. so you can see. Much red. So much red. Do 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 do. Claire's making things difficult. $25 seconds. All right. 25 minutes. Or 15 minutes. Sorry, 15 minutes, everybody. 15 extremely quick minutes. How are you doing, Sashi? I could have used another shape on the nose, like right here. Didn't see that. Doing alright, Sashi. I'm doing all right. I hope you are well. We are doing time trials. Ooh, fuck. Doing time trials. That one was 15 minutes. Yeah, that's what... So we did 2 10 minutes. This is our third. This was at 15 minutes. Exactly what it is, Jan. So any thoughts? I think this one had 5 minutes more like time. I think this one is probably the best one so far. I think this one's decent. Like, the nose is a little off, but I think I could fix that with, like, a couple shapes. No worries, Mud. Thank you. Yeah. I think the colors are better in this one. The shape of the forehead's a little off. Doing this with one brush does complicate some of the colors I can hit, but quickly, but it wouldn't be that difficult to refine this into a portrait. Painting in glass is very annoying, though. I'll say that. But yeah. You know, I'm not getting too stressed about this, which is interesting. But you know what this helps with? I'll say this. This helps with, like, taking away your expectations of doing anything good. And I do believe that to be a big benefit. Know what I'm saying? Like, I find myself not giving a shit. And I think that's nice. Yeah, I just think, like, you know, it really forces you to broad stroke it, like, mentally, right? Yeah, so right now we've done 10 minutes, and this was a 15-minute one, Sashi. Well, I apologize for nothing, Pickles. Except that I'm sorry if I offended them. God damn it. So yeah, I do think this one, rather when you're trying to do well, you tend to only see what is going wrong. Yeah. No, it's a fair point. And like, I see some things that I think are not bad in this. I think like the mouth and chin area, like this relationship of contrast worked better. This go around. I think the proportions are generally decent. I could have probably still used a little bit more width. But like I said, I think I could fix the nose with like 2 shapes. Like I needed a shape right here, right here, and like right there. And I think I could have defined the nose a little bit better. And maybe one like right here. Well, that's what. So Sashi, I did a spiel about this. Why I'm doing this, right? And I struggled with a lot of recent portraits. Amy's I struggled a ton with. But like the Bill Murray one, I struggled. Gene Wilder, I had some struggles. Very few of them I felt went smoothly, where like I was like making confident brushstrokes and just going for it. And this is not an exercise I invented. This is an exercise that has been around, right? And you know, if I want to be more fluent in how I paint, you need to take some steps back, right? So taking the necessary steps back, understanding what is important about this process, and then just drilling them into the ground, right? As long as I don't hate this, and I don't hate this at all. This is a nice challenge. And I think there's a ton of value in this. Well, see, that's what this does, Jan. Right? Jan, this takes away any... Like, why do you fear it? Because you want it to hit likeness. You want it to look good, right? With portraits. So, just like finding a fine reference and then just doing quick block-ins, focusing on important things. Right? So remember I told you I got trapped earlier? I got trapped because I started doing multiple shapes in this upper region without doing anything here, right? So I realized early on, thankfully, that I was stuck here, right? And that I just needed to get this stuff in before I reevaluated this. Exactly, Mud. Yeah, Sashi, and that's the premise of this, right? Is go back to so what's important and for impressionistic painting, right? General shapes and their contrast relationships with the rest of the colors. This, because we could do 10 of these today, right? We could do 10 of these. That's 10 repetitions that then I get to rest and think about, right? And maybe we'll do this somewhat regularly. Well, yeah, pick a safer subject matter, Jan. They really are. Yeah, no paints. Oil paint works, and badly made paints work for that. Yeah. And I think, so this is somewhat reflective. Thank you for taking those pictures, Pickles. I'm pretty sure they're badly to terribly made paints, but I'm not sponsored by them. Are you posting them? Can you post them in the Discord as we go, Pickles, also? If you don't mind? Like, you could put them in announcements, or... You could put them in announcements or general discussion. Do them in announcements. Do them in announcements, because that's where I usually put, my finish paint. Thank you, Pickles. So, yeah, and so, getting back to it. So, I struggled with a lot of those portraits, right? I did a bunch of portraits recently. There are only a few that I'm actually happy with, right? Especially with how they went. And if you notice recently, outside of the portrait of Ricardo, I've done basically 3 fairly simple paintings recently, right? And the premise always is painting a simple subject strongly, and with confident brushstrokes is a stronger statement than doing a complex subject matter mediocrely and struggling, right? Or not, with lacking that, right? But how do we get to the strong subject matter in the same manner? Well, we have to get it so we could go back to our fundamentals each time and just be so comfortable that we do it like that every time, right? So, this is really good reflection, right? I don't mean to come off as negative, right? But I really dislike a lot of my paintings, right? And it's because when I think about basics like these and you're not executing, right, to what your basics, well, does it tell you that your basics aren't as strong as they should be? Don't get me wrong, there's paintings I do that I do like. But taking a couple steps back every once in a while is a good thing. I think it is an empirically good thing. All right, shall we do another one? How much time should this next one be? 10 minutes. Go back to 10. We got 2 votes for 10. Okay. Then 10 it shall be. Right. Okay. Him. Let's get the timer set up again. All right, we got a timer. All right, get your bets in now. Get your bets in now. All right. Once I start this timer, bets are off. All right. Lock in your bets, everybody. I have a feeling though that this one is gonna regress a little bit because I had a lot of time on that last one. All right, our bets in. Stretch out the shoulder. Lobster Licka. Lobster Licka. Welcome in. That name is very fitting for this stream. Welcome in. All right. 10-minute go. A 10-minute go. Starting in 5, 4. Oh my god, I pressed it early. Okay. Jesus. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be terrible. Be our guest, be our guest. That's true, Stoic. All right, don't get trapped with oh, fucking too much red. God damn it. God damn it, Pyrol. Why do you have to be so strong? Because you're awesome. God, I love you. For anybody who has not used the Pyrol paint, and orders them from me, get fucking ready. Get ready. You don't even know. You don't even know what's coming for you. Yeah. Making a mistake. High rolls are where it's at. Yeah, well, pie rolls don't have the health risks with inhalation, but frankly, cadmium paints aren't a safety issue when they're bound in oil. They're just not. But cadmiums have environmental concerns. In addition, they're more expensive. Pie rolls are pretty much... There's only one real thing that cadmiums do better than pie rolls, and that they are slightly more opaque. They are slightly more opaque. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. Cover up that eye for now. Let's go small. Do 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 do. 1 second, Londonio. Let me just, we're almost done with this run. I'll get to your question. Probably gonna look not right. Let's move. Thank you, Steph. All right, that one was a struggle. That one was a struggle. Face is too short. Chin is too short. That one was tough. Yeah, I think that the angle up here got a little fucked, I think. I tried a little bit of a different start. Yeah, this needed to come down a little bit more. The chin needed to be a little bit lower. Well, thank you, Sashi. Alberto Jose Silva Londoño. Do you use liquid medium in the palette? I do not. I don't use solvents or resins, ever. I only use oils and oil-based things as mediums. Yeah, the oil, the upper lip did not get in there. It's just like a sprint. These are goddamn sprints, everybody. Goddamn sprints. Well, thank you, Stoic. So yeah, Alberto, I never use liquid. Yeah, sprints are a bitch. So all right, so this shape is off right here. The distance from, okay, so this distance is what got fucked up. Nose to top of mouth, and that threw off this as well. You're welcome. So the reason why, though, Alberto, is because resins, liquid is made with resin and solvents. Resins are dangerous for archival properties. Okay. There's also solvents in there which are can be problematic for archival aspects, and I don't consider them to be needed. I feel like they're unnecessary. But there's nothing that liquid does that you can't achieve with just plain oils. If you insist on using solvent, well, then you could use stand oil as well. Like, you know, so like you can mitigate it, but the resin is a big problem, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm talking to YouTube. Also, I might be attempting to start to also stream on Twitch. I'm not on Twitch, on TikTok. I might be giving that a go soon. So yeah, this one really kind of fell apart in this in the lower half. Oily, oily, oily. Oi, oi, oi! That's right, Kazik. So yeah, God, 15 minutes felt like such a luxury at the time. But I feel like this, I don't know. This one felt the worst, oddly enough, to a certain extent. But it's still probably better than number one. I shall stoke booty. So apparently there are some ways to do multiple settings, Mud. Multiple setting, like vertical and horizontal settings in a way in OBS. You're welcome. Happy to answer any questions you got, Alberto. Okay. So maybe we should take a quick break because everybody's getting a little bit emotional. I sense a lot of hostility and emotions from chat, so maybe we should take a quick fiver. All right. A lot of hostility. What about streaming to TikTok or to streaming to oh, the horizontal, the vertical? Yeah. I've literally seen somebody talk about that, Mud. Mud, if you're interested, I could send you what I find out about it. Only a little hostile? But I could sense it. How dare I? How dare you? Yeah. I know TikTok is weird, but they have a pretty established, like, heavy streaming community there. All right, let's take a 5-minute break, everybody. Let's all just lock it in, okay? Like I said, everybody's just a little emotional. Really, Lobster? Interesting. I still, like, I got an email saying I can stream on TikTok even though I don't have, like, the prerequisites that they're stated online before, but so I don't even know if I am allowed to yet. That sucks. The last one was mediocre. Had some failures, but that's okay. Oh, you were? I only have like 150 followers on TikTok. People don't follow me on TikTok. Well, were you doing stunts? Were you jumping out of cars and stuff? Were you doing parkour? I wish. Right. That would probably get a lot of views if you're doing live parkour. All right, everybody. We're going to take about a 5-minute break. I'm going to run the ads. We're going to come back. And we're going to take over the world. Take over the world. All right. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes. Jesus Christ! We are back. We're back, everybody. Who pooped? Who pooped? It's okay if you pooped. It's okay. Okay if you pooped. All right. All right. Be a guest. Oh yeah, maybe I should place it like this for you. That's probably more. All right. How much time for the next one, y'all? Hey, y'all. How much time for the next one? $15 again? I want to see what people think. Because we also don't have to go in increments of 5. Oh, skitty bop bop. How dare you, Maddie? You say another 10? Yeah, we could. I mean, I'm open to any suggestion. All right, so let's take a second and think. Okay. So we could do, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 1 minute, 1 minute increments, and we're not gonna bother with like seconds and shit. But 1 minute increments, minimum of 5. Yeah. So, what do we think? What's up? Idea. God, those commercials. We are doing oil painting exercises. We are doing oil painting exercise. Oh, skitty bop bop. Ooh. So, Dia, in 1 minute increments, starting minimum of 5, how many minutes should I do this in? Yeah, I mean, well, I don't think we have to go with 1 minute within the last one, right? But I think, like, saying that, like, it doesn't have to be 5, 10, 15. It could be 9, it could be 11, it could be 12, 13. We've done 4 goes so far, Dia. So we're just doing a block-in. So that this portrait right here, doing a block-in and time limit. Time limit block-ins. Oh, ski. Time limit block-ins. You want to do 5? We could do a 5-er. Alright, let's do 5. What everybody wants. Okay. We don't mess around with seconds here. Yeah, it's only 1 minute increments. Alright. We're gonna do 5 minute. This is gonna take, it's gonna feel like 30 seconds to me. I wanna think about it. Lame. I know, I'm just super lame, Dio. God. Why do I have to be so lame? Alright, how do I want to approach this? I'm just thinking about my plan of attack, everybody. Just thinking about my plan of attack. All right. We all ready? Is everybody sitting down? Everybody sitting down? Better. It's gonna fly. Fly, you fool. All right, good. Good, Dia. Good. Good. All right. 10. No, stop levitating. Stop. Sit down. God, you're the worst, Maddie. All right. 15. 14. Oh, my God. I was nervous. You know, it's funny. My arm's getting a lot more tired than you. Fuck, this is a mistake. Mistake. Why I bothered with this? Oh, skitty bop bop. Oh, brush is too fucked with the blue. Oh my god. I don't know, Kaziki. Mediocre poop break. My shoulder is like super tired. I have to move so fast with this shit. It's just like... It's like exhausting. Well... I'll sell it for $3 million. Glass. I'm painting on glass. On an old palette. So there's some glare over here specifically, but... No worries, Dan. Alright, so that sucked. That was, I guess somewhat tense in the bad way. Color, so, alright, so I decided to mix this shape with this shape. So I didn't get a much difference in color here, which changes a lot. This was difficult. 5 minutes is difficult. But the value is it's going to make 10 minutes feel a lot better, right? So it's like whenever you go down, you feel more stress. Whenever you go up, it feels so much easier. Oh, skitty bop bop. Would anybody mind screenshotting this and putting it in the Discord if Pickles isn't here? Pickles, are you still here? You did? All right, thank you, Pickles. Thank you. I should have asked if you were here first. So I apologize. All right, how much for the next one, everybody? We're going to take a little bit of time, though, to let my shoulder recover. Oh, skiddy bop bip. Oh, no worries. No worries at all. No, you're all good. You're all good. All right, so I think the big value in this, once again, is feeling the relative difference of time while painting. The nose isn't. So, and it's still a little bit narrow. I think I've kind of continually fucked that up a bit. I am running out of some paint, so I should probably put some more burnt umber down. Ooh. I do have an idea, though, to help. I gotta use 2 brushes. I gotta use 1 brush for the hair, specifically. Because otherwise it'll get too fucked up. Son of a bee sting. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna use this brush for the dark colors, I think. And let's get out some more burnt umber. Hi, Amelia. Ooh, how'd the move go? How did that move go? Crazy day. Oh, yeah, I saw that. So what happened to your car? The battery? Might be the alternator. Did you have any electricity? Like, would your lights turn on or anything like that? Or did it die while you were driving? And then you lost power? But, like, were you driving and it stopped and the electricity went out? Or was it just... Oh, that's weird. Huh. Why would the RPMs go nuts? Maybe it's an internal computer thing. See, the RPMs wouldn't signify alternator to me. Gotcha. But, oh, so it was losing... Okay, so you were driving and it lost power. Then that definitely could be the alternator. If you were driving it and you lost electricity, that would most likely be alternator. Because your battery's not recharging. And that's all the alternator does. Well, that's good. I mean, you might be... Like, it might be time for you to get another car. But if it's just an alternator... That's fine, too. Point being is, there is a chance it's something more major, but if it's just the alternator, you're all good. Alternators do go out. The only thing that is weird to me is that RPM thing. But was it, I mean, well, sorry, was the car revving? Like, was the car actually revving, or like the thing just went like that on its own? Speedy. Okay. Then it might just be the alternator. It shouldn't be a crazy... It's not... That's not a crazy difficult fix, and the part's not crazy, so... you should be alright. Alright, Amelia, we're doing time trials right now. We're doing time trials. So... we're doing block-ins of that in time. So we did a 5-minute go, a 15-minute go, and 3 10-minute goes. Really stoic. I would not expect that to happen with Subarus. That just sounds so nuts to me. Subarus are generally pretty reliable, too. Might have pickles. All right. How much time should we do? How much time should we go for this round? Oh yeah, that's a lot of miles. A lot of driving. You want 7 on this one? 6 hours? Mako. Too much. You gotta be quick. There's a max. You want 7 on this one, Pickles? You do 7. How you doing, Mako? Oh, skitty bop bop. Alright, I think my shoulder got enough rest. Alright. Doing fine, just fine. I'm just fine. Doing a good fundamentals exercise here on the lovely Matt Berry. And, yeah. We'll see how this goes. All the previous attempts are up on the Discord, everybody. You right? Alright, so we're going to do a 7-minute go. And we'll see how this goes. Alright. Shall we get started? Ready, set. Wait, do we need to run commercials? Oh my god, go. Okay. Doesn't look weird. Too much magenta got on my brush. Glare hits right there. Super annoying. Go through that much trouble for that side of the hair. All right. Time. Time has been called. Knives down. I mean, it felt a lot longer than 5. It felt a lot better than 5. Was a blink of an eye. Yeah, it's still, I still tend to go too narrow. Eyes are a little too far down. I didn't get the proper like contrast dark there. I could see the nose. And once again, so like if I Pickles, are you still there? Can you screenshot it now? Because I want to show what I think this is a good idea to show what would be next. Or things that would have been probably valuable to hit in this block-in. Pickles, can you hear me? See? I'm making y'all Yentl converts. So, I keep on missing this shape specifically. So, it's like the shape on this side of the nose, like right here. Kind of that. But then this came out, like goes out to the forehead. Thank you, Pickles. So like this nose would be like more in that realm, and then this comes up. So the eye is too far down. So like refine that. And then like, well, I don't know if that would be an important one, but getting something under the nose. But I'm also missing like all the like, well, it's because of time, obviously. But the shaping of this jaw, like type moves. Getting like a deep red over here. But. All right. Let's take a small break and do another. What should the next time limit be? What I should have done too is I should have prepped another one, another reference, and then we could have like, you know, because the thing is there's still some like gaming, if that makes sense to this, where it's like, because the goal isn't like to do this on the same one, but to like see a reference and be able to understand, right? So maybe next time I do this, I'll have multiple references ready. Yeah. Same brain. Same brain. The brain cell. But we'll do a couple more. Ooh, careful, Stoic. Careful with those perverts. Why is that so offensive? Mud, it's because I've taught you so much about oil painting that you're practically an oil painter. That's why. The metamorphosis. It's a metamorphosis, like that book. You just wake up one day and you're an oil painter. I'm just saying, it's gonna be like what is it, Kafka? Kafka's Metamorphosis. You're just gonna wake up one day and you're just gonna be like, I'm an oil painter now. What is happening to me? You're gonna start idolizing Sargent. You're gonna hate Picasso. You're gonna start having computer problems all the time. You know. The normal stuff oil painters have to deal with. That is true, Shasta. That is true. Who would idolize Sargent? That's just... Is it sad to idolize Sargent? I don't know. Sergeant did not seem like one of the bad ones, but you never know. Never know. Like, there could be a lot worse artists to idolize, right? Like, if you see somebody who idolizes Gauguin, you should not be friends with them. Oh, gotcha. Oh, it was making fun of me. I gotcha. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, don't trust anybody who idolizes Gauguin. Or Van Gogh, for that matter. Sargent is, Shasta, like, my favorite watercolors, in my opinion, the best watercolors I've ever seen were all Sargent. So Gauguin was a huge piece of shit. So Gauguin had a wife and 4 kids, and he quit his job to start painting, and it caused his family to go destitute. And then he left his wife and 4 children. Yeah, they're problematic as people. So then he left his wife and 4 children to basically never see them again, and he went to, I forget where he went to first. It might have been the Caribbean first. But he went to the Caribbean and South America, where he married several very underage girls. And he knew it was wrong. Like, it wasn't like even like a cult. Like, culturally, it was problematic back then as well. He had kids with them. He just traveled around doing paintings and banging underage children. He was a horrible man. Very racist, too. Very racist. Very much so, Pickles. You know, there's other problematic painters. Edgar Degas has some, like, documented I'll say thoughts and allegations. I'd say I don't believe there's anything, like, proven, but there's a lot of suspicion around some of the things he did. Degas, this is not even talking about, like, the conspiracy theory. I'm talking, like, you know, sexual harassment and probably some pedophilia stuff. Young dancers at the ballet type shit. Renoir has some pretty misogynistic writings, I believe. Like, I believe Renoir was kind of a big misogynist. Yeah. But I don't know if he had anything else other than that, like, than his writings, right? Who else? Like, Morisot, the Manets, Caillebotte, Monet, were all pretty well liked from what I've heard. Not sure. Not sure about that, Mako. Sargent seemed to be well liked. Everybody kind of loved Monet. That dude was just interested in painting. So Sargent's interesting personally wise because he was most likely gay. Now, there might have been some, like, I'll say, but I don't know at the time if this was meant as that, but, like, some people accuse him of whitewashing some people a bit. No, he was, well, yeah, so, like, you know, especially in that time period, Dia, I think he, like, I believe it also contributed to his, like, exile from Paris. So he did the painting of Madame X, right? And it basically got him shunned from, like, painting in France, okay? At least for, like, people, right? Because they didn't want to be associated with him anymore. Because he drew a woman in, like, a, you know, a somewhat revealing dress for the time period. But he did, supposedly he had a romantic relationship with a man for my favorite painting, and I forget the name of it again. I called it Sergeant's Muse, but it had a different name. But it was a portrait of a, what's his name? It's a nude painting of that one guy. Hold! One of my favorite paintings ever. It's a nude painting that Sargent did of what people believe to be his lover. There it is. I think that's probably it. Yeah, that's one of my favorite paintings of all time. Thomas McKellar. That's it. Yep. Yeah, so he's a black man. I want to see this painting in person. So fucking wait. What they wait? What museum is it in? At the Gardner Museum? Oh shit. Yeah, if you don't like to see nude men, but God, I love this painting. This painting is so good. God, is it good. But that was the man supposedly that he had a romantic relationship with. That's like what. So what got me interested in Impressionism, Dia, was I was like doing my first few paintings, and I was talking with my mom, who took some painting classes like when we were younger, but like, you know, it wasn't like a big passion for her. But she was talking about, she mentioned Sargent, and I looked at his stuff. I'm like, oh, holy shit. And then that painting came up, and I'm like, oh, man. That's just like, that's different. That hits different. But like, I have to say, I really, I've talked about Sargent so many times. But like, every time I see, like, I've rarely been more impressed by paintings than I do with like any Sargent I've seen. If you look in the Discord, I posted the Sargent from the Art Institute. Thank you, Pickles. Thank you for doing that. If you go to museum pictures, here I could post a link of, yeah, this one. I think I could do it. So this link, I saw this one at the Art Institute just stood out above like every painting I saw that day. The sheen, yeah, it looked like the sheen, but it's like you go in close and it's just sloppy. You know, it's not sloppy, but like, you know, it's well placed. But it's not like there's like a big attention to like the brush marks and stuff. It's just putting that color there perfectly, and the like visual effect of that contrast and shine, and because that picture is also making the like lessens the contrast even more. But it's just like so well executed and so perfect. Because if you zoom in close, you can see like nothing is blended. Nothing is blended at all. Maybe I'll say this: some areas in the skin might be blended, but nothing on that dress is blended. And like confidence, everything's perfect. It's huge. It's a huge painting, mind you. That's like an 8-foot tall painting. And I sat in front of that thing for like 20 minutes. Fucking loved it. It was a big one. It was a big one. But anywho, this is a rant. I'd have to see that one, Oxford. So yeah, you know, Sergeant is just the pinnacle of understanding contrast and having big old painter balls. Big old cantaloupes. So yeah. Anywho. All right, how much time should we do for the next one, everybody? In summation, we don't like Gauguin here. We're more timid to idolize a lot of these guys, but there's a few that seem to be legitimately decent people. Do another 15-minute. Okay. This might be the last one. So it's probably good to do Also, for anybody who didn't hear earlier, I'm gonna try and plan to do a watercolor plein air session this week. A watercolor plein air. Did you use them with your other paints, Maddie? Did you use them with your other paints? It's pretty nutty, right? Just use mine. Which ones did did you try all of them? Because ones that might be surprising is how strong titanium white actually is, and then the pyrrole red and magenta, I think, with phthalo blue too. Oh, did you? How'd that go, Silver? Did you follow the mixes I showed in that stream? I still gotta edit that too. Maybe I'll work on that tonight. Really? In what way? In what way, Maddie? Can you look at the pigment number on your other phthalo for me? I wonder if it was 15:2. Is it more red, or is yours more red, or is it more green? Oh, nice. Okay. Would you mind sharing that on the Discord? Just PB15? And what brand is that? Yeah, there's very nice purples and greens in that palette. And in good oranges too. What brand? Oh, Winton? I'll check that out. So what was different about it, Maddie? Did it seem more green or did it seem more red? I'll probably seem more red. Think mine was more green? Interesting. Because PB15 does exist on its own, Maddie. But I want to see, like, the reason why I use 15:3 is because that's what Williamsburg uses. And, but there are a lot of phthalo blues. There are. There's phthalo blue red shade as well. Which is 15:2. So interesting. Interesting. It does. So that's kind of like one of the gaps silver grains in the palette, and I talked about it in the mixing stream. Is you know you can't really get to Alizair and Crimson, but that gets you close. That gets you close. That specific mix. So just so you know, some changes that might be happening to the watercolor palette is so right now I use cadmium red light, which is the same as Pyrrole Scarlet in color, essentially. I'm not going to be buying any more cadmium pigments. I'm just going to be turning those into Pyrroles on the watercolor side as well. I just got to use up my cadmium that I have still. But so changes to that palette is I'm going to be changing Cad Red Light to Pyrrole Red. So that's going to be less orange, but I'm going to add Pyrrole Orange to the palette. So I'm going to add a super concentrated orange as well. So to do that, though, I have to remove a color because I want to keep it at 12. And I'm probably going to be getting rid of, like... We'll see if I get rid of a color. But you can make an argument to get rid of Venetian Red pretty easily, or Burnt Sienna. Are probably the weakest colors, but there's some value in those, like in watercolor specifically. But this is a mixing palette, so but I want to add Pyrrole Orange to the palette. I really do. So yeah, but eventually the reds are all going to be the Pyrroles. Like I'm going to have Pyrrole Scarlet, Pyrrole Red, and Pyrrole Orange all available for those for the watercolor set. Yeah, I probably don't need both of those, right? I'd probably keep the Sienna over the Venetian Red. Because the Venetian is like an in-between. You know, it's a desaturated warm red. And Burnt Sienna is a desaturated version, essentially, of that. But that has value, but it's like closer to yellow ochre. I also might change that yellow ochre to one of these yellow ochres I'm testing. But we just got to see that. We'll wait for ads to go. Awesome. Thank you for that, Silver. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're intrigued by them. You know, because the goal with the watercolors is just to have a very efficient palette that, once again, that you feel like you could basically mix any color in its super saturated state that you can. Because you could never, you know, if you can't hit the saturation, that's a problem because you could always desaturate the colors, right? If you just follow simple mixing principles, you could always desaturate something saturated, right? So, point being is that, like, you know, the biggest benefit to your palette is having super saturated colors everywhere, or the extremes. So, oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. That's why it took me a while to even add titanium buff, because it's like, well, you know, you could also just use less saturated, like, less paint saturation within the water to get the brightness that you wanted. So, but I'm going to be working on watercolors more, working with them, like, I haven't done watercolors in a bit, but I might be doing several plein airs with them. How you doing, Lalo the Gamer 214? I know you like having it, but woo, www. Sorry, we're doing time trials, so I'm waiting for the ads to finish before we do the next one. Lalo the Gamer, you can hear this, but you might be in ads. Yeah, I mean, I might be doing that planer this week. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna paint on. Because all I have is like sheets of paper, so do I just tape it to a board and just hold the board? Like, do I just find somewhere to sit and hold the board manually? I don't know. I have to figure that out. A lot of figuring out. A lot of figuring out. We're just waiting for ads to finish, and then we're going to start the 15-minute trial that we got. Next. But yeah, so on the docket, like I said, for the watercolors is probably, yeah, changing over to pyrroles and adding an orange, maybe altering the yellow ochre as well. For the set of 12. I honestly don't like that ivory black is in there in the main set. But, you know, that is a convenience for a lot of people. That is a convenience for a lot of people. What other changes could I possibly consider? You don't really need phthalo green when you have phthalo blue in there. So I don't think I'd add a green. Well, sorry, I already have chromium oxide green in there anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to add like a Viridian to the... I'm never going to use like Viridian in the main palette. It does, though. That's why I had them in there. I added the ivory black for... Some people wanted it. Like, I made it and sold it on its own, and then I decided to add it to the palette because I wasn't going to include ultramarine violet anymore. Ultramarine violet didn't seem like a worthwhile pigment when I had magenta in there. Yeah, that's the problem with Viridian. It's not a very strong tinter. And that hurts a lot more on watercolors, you know. Cobalt turquoise is a little redundant too, with since we have phthalo in there. So that's another color that could be cut in the future, but I don't know what I would cut it for at the moment. There's just not like a... Like, I'll say the opacity of cobalt turquoise is pretty interesting. A lot of people seem to like that color. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of like what it is for me, Mud. So it's like, by my standards, the color is redundant, but it is an opaque color, and it's a color that pretty much everybody likes, you know. The biggest issue is it's kind of a pain in the butt to make because cobalts reduce in size so much when they dry, so you have to refill the pan 2 to 3 times to get a proper amount. And it's an expensive pigment. And I don't have a use for it, you know, in oil paints anymore. So that's something I haven't considered much, but something I might start considering too. Avoid cobalts? Barely. Well, cobalts have some ethical issues. It's not it's not the worst thing with paints because of the demand. Yeah. Well, I might need to ask you some questions on what are like pigments do granulate a lot. And maybe that would be the reason to incorporate some other ones. You know, basically it's like the main reason to keep like the natural earth colors is because of just kind of tradition and people like them. Oh yeah, he says. Yeah. Cobalts, people think cobalts are toxic. They're not really that toxic. They're just the main issue with cobalts is they're difficult to make, they're expensive, and then there's some ethical issues. All right, we ready for a 15-minute go? 15 minute go. 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 15 Yeah, it's the child the child labor that's the problem. If I knew that they mined ethically, I would have much less of an issue. Those are the ones that granulate. I actually do like chromium oxide green watercolors. Ultramarine's obviously a staple. But anyways, all right. Let's do a 15-minute go to round it out today. Or else. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Starting. Son of a bitch! Water poop. Oh, I grabbed a lot of red there. Hi, Yoni. How are you? I'm doing well. How are you? I won't be able to look at chat too much because I'm in the middle of the time trial. But I am doing well. Nice to see you. Good. Hi, TDS. What is that? Good to hear you, Yoni. Glad you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. Bastard! God damn it, man. Go green. Oh, mukbangs? I don't know. I don't know if there's enough time for mukbangs today. I don't know if there's going to be enough time. Sorry for all the people who are here for the mukbang. Skinny bump bump. Six minutes and 45 left. I think I might still be a little... I think I could fix this. Fuck. Red. We'll make do with magenta and a pinch. Let's darken that. Is my timer still going? Okay, it is. It looks like it's stalled. Darken that even more. Nope, nope. Time. Time. That last bright highlight was not good. It's too white, needed more yellow. But not that bad. Sorry, Mud. Sorry. My apologies. This is number 7. This got a little muddled here. The shape of this eyebrow, the forehead, like, okay, so. Mud, would you mind screenshotting this? Thank you. So, let's see. Some things that would have benefited this. So, this was going fast. There needed to be a. Well, this is more like more refinement. But like. I needed to. Yeah, very zombie, but proportionally this one might have been my best one. But he is making like a weird face. Let's see. The glass changes some stuff though, so like. But yeah, I'm not like this one was probably the easiest to work from the ones I've created. Right? From where I was like left off. This is a good exercise though. We'll do this one again. We'll definitely be doing this one again. I do recommend. Now, portrait is tough for this, right? But for people who are just starting out or are like actively looking to learn, doing this with like just an apple, right, is similar in context to like the brushstroke limit, right? But, you know, give yourself 5 minutes to paint an apple, right? You know, like I think that 10 is rushing this a bit. 15 seems to be a pretty decent number for this exercise. And if I think if I was regularly practicing this, going up to 20 would probably be where you'd want to be. Right? Part of this was like feeling this out. But like keep it relative to the difficulty of your subject. However, I will say doing one of these super quick does force you to really break down where colors need to go. Right? It really just makes you do it. And There's a lot of value in that, right? Because that's a big thing people struggle with, right? Basic shape placement, seeing that, and then also making a decision. Because part of another benefit here just forces you to be decisive with what you're doing here on the palette and getting it up on there, you know? And like I messed up with this bright because there wasn't enough yellow, right? And it really made it stand out too much. But quick observation, I get to reflect on that, right? And then the next time I do a portrait, and you know, hell, next time I do a portrait, I might even do a time limit for the block in. The next time I do a portrait, maybe I'll give myself only 30 minutes to do the block in, and then reflect on that, right? And then finish it up as normal, right? But put myself under some constraint there to make sure I'm prioritizing what I need to get done in the block in. Know what I'm saying? I also recommend using bigger brushes for this too. That will help you not get like saddled with the details. All right. Good, Maddie, good. Good, Maddie, go. What has been your favorite color that you tried out so far, Maddie? Now let's clean up. And what has surprised you the most? It is a great blue. All right, cleaning this up, everybody. The Argentine. Easier in what way, out of curiosity? Just like with mixing and stuff like that, or just like application? Because one thing I'm afraid of is people think that the paints are too thick. I made some thick boy paints. That's a boy with 3 eyes. Application wise, interesting. The truth is, I never left you. I forgot to get my solvent. So let me do that. Oh, awesome, Fugu. Thank you. Which ones did you order? Oh, good luck with that goddamn Zorn palette. Well, that orange will blow your nuts off because that is a super saturated, bright orange. But the Zorn palette is miserable. So good luck to you. I should have told you to wait because I was gonna offer the, well, I don't know if you wanted the full set, and it wouldn't include the orange, but I'm gonna be doing the Zorn palette as its own set. Yeah, good luck with your nuts. Gotcha. And so that's one thing, Maddie, I might be doing in the future is selling the filler, like impasto medium, so you guys could use filler, so you don't have to, like, you know, so you can, extend the use of those paints, because I do know they're expensive. That's going to be like how I'm not going to make student grade versions. I decided because of how much work that is, and I kind of just I don't want to carry stock of student grade. But I think I'm just going to offer impasto medium. So that you guys can, you know, basically mix a little bit and then mix in impasto medium. Gotcha. I'll let you know, Fugu. Yeah, I think that's just, so, like, you know, not that I wasn't expecting it to be a lot of work, but making paints is a lot of work. One batch generally takes me 4, sometimes 5 hours, right? And there's tedium. I have to, you know, then I document everything, blah blah blah. But doing that for student grades and keeping different recipes is something that I don't really want to do. In addition to, like, making essentially a lower grade paint. Yeah, exactly. Well, Fugu, I'll be shipping them out in a few days because I got Kaziki ordered some paints today too. But thank you for that. I really appreciate the support. It will help me be able to make more paints and provide you with what I talk about. I think that would be a good thing. Yeah, I think you'll be very interested in that orange. Pyral orange is nutty. So one thing though that I think will be surprising, and I haven't had this perspective in a long time, is that since my colors are so pigmented, if you've only used like student grade or like Gamblin or artist or Winsor, like a Newton, like artist grade paints, if the yellows and the reds and like the primary colors will kind of shock you how much different they are. That was one of the biggest differences I knew when I started getting into higher level paint, or more like, you know, quality, but like, you know, God damn it, Misa, don't eat them. But I think that will be a big surprising note when you first try mixing with like Pyro red and scarlet or orange, or like even the yellow, the bismuth yellow. And I mean, you know, it takes some time to adjust to them, but you'll like you, dear. I'm excited for y'all to try them. Did the yellow surprise you? That's a bismuth lemon, baby. Yeah, I'm excited for that Dia as well, though. Yeah, bismuth yellow is the best yellow. They're just got to make sure that you avoid separation. Oh, Maddie, that's what I'm saying. And anybody who has oil paints, this is something I've learned recently and why, and it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. When you keep your paints, stand them up on their cap. Okay? Don't lie them down. Don't hang them upside down if you can do that. sit them down on their caps. That will help mitigate separation as much as possible. So it's because of a density difference, right? So the oil in oil paints is lighter than the pigment, okay? And you felt how heavy that lead is and feel how heavy that yellow is. And the oil will rise to the top. And so if separation occurs here, it's better than the opposite way, where if it separates like this, or on the opposite way, where the oil will all bunch up here. Okay? So if there is separate, now I took measures to make sure that there was no separation, okay, especially with the bismuth and lead, but the possibility remains that separation can occur. Okay? Once again, you could just remix that oil into the paints, but keeping them sitting up on their caps. And I don't do this in my thing because I didn't realize it made that much of a difference. But point being is, it should help with any issues that you have. Help with that issue. Okay. This was a good exercise, everybody. I highly recommend doing this. I would say don't do it with portraits if you're learning. I would recommend doing it with like a simple still life setup. I also recommend doing this from life versus a picture. Since I couldn't have anybody that sit, I had to use a photo. But like I said, set up an apple and give yourself a 5-minute time limit. Use a big brush and block it in. Now block it in. Don't go into too many details. Know what I'm saying, dogs? All right, let's find somebody to rate, huh? Thank you for your... Let's see. Ooh, Jen Newtatten is streaming a game. Casey Snow is streaming. I haven't rated Casey. Princess PJs is doing a portrait of Maddie right now. Yeah, Oxford, but that will still lead to all the oil coming out of the tube, and that's what you don't want to do. Does this streaming? Do you want me to raid PJs? I could raid PJs. Yeah, but see, Oxford, the thing is, it still separates, and it will come out of the tube when you open it up. And that's what you don't want. You want that oil to stay in there. Let's raid Princess PJs. All right, everybody. Well, that's basically chalk. Bye, Amy. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out. Amy, thank you for staying the whole time and talking and having a great time with everybody. Dia, have a good one. Mud, thank you. Oxford, have a good one. Stoic Booty. Fugu, thank you for all the support. I know, Amy. I appreciate that. Greenbag, I'll see you in hell. Silver Grains, thank you. I can't wait to see that chart. Omizu, thank you. If anybody has questions about the paint, please let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions you might want. About the paints. If you're having issues with the paints, please let me know. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Amy. Thank you. Oil paints can be found in the link in the chat. Buy them or else. Bye, everybody.